Survivor Season 46, Episode 3. Let's talk about it. There were some wild things happening in this episode. Hey, I'm Kathy Ellen. I am a huge Survivor fan who hopes to one day be on the show. I'm a Ninja Warrior athlete, a teacher, a reader, and a writer, so I kind of look at it all through that lens. I take notes throughout the episode, so when I share them with you here, I'm going to talk about how I was feeling at different points in the episode, and then you can kind of see me realize things as they go, which I think is pretty fun. I love a good recap, and this one was bringing some things to light to me with Randon and Venus. I hope we'd see more of that with Banu and the fake idol, Banu just kind of having his moment at Tribal, and the fire at Siga. So from the preview, I was like, okay, so Yanu cannot be going to Tribal Council again. Really, they can't be going again. That's my biggest wish, that a different tribe would go to Tribal Council. So I was fingers crossed at that point. When they come back, Banu is on the outs. Of course, he lost it at that Tribal Council. He was being way too honest. Then when he was looking for the idol, I had to actually stop, and you can tell how old I am, rewind back to the part at Tribal where Jess played the idol, because Banu's like, I gotta find the idol. That's the only way that I can move forward in this game. And I immediately thought, Banu, someone found the real idol. She handed over something with papers. How else were they going to have papers to give her? Did he not see the papers? I can understand that he was in his own element at that Tribal Council, so maybe he missed that little detail, but I was just instantly like, no, what are you doing? Someone already found the real idol. You should have used the seeing those papers to be like, I know someone found the real idol because you gave Jess a fake one with some papers. What were those papers? Who did that? Where'd you find the papers? That's what I wanted to see, Banu. That's what you could have got out of them. Maybe. I don't know if they would have answered him, but it would have been funny to see them scramble. I thought Kenzie's take on Banu was good, that he might have spent a lot of time watching. I do agree that he is kind of watching things go on around him and not really playing. So I was like, okay, if Yanu goes, then Banu's got to go. Or Kenzie. That's what I was thinking from the start. I love that he called Kenzie a mermaid dragon. We just got the Banu Chronicles, and things were coming out of that man's mouth that were very entertaining. At this point, I thought Yanu cannot be going to Tribal Council because we spend way too much time with Banu here to have him go out, right? There needs to be some sort of redemptive arc because he is just crashing and burning at the beginning of this episode. If he just crashes and burns throughout the whole thing, I don't know. It's not really satisfying television. Okay. How did you feel about the Siga throwback? Because when I saw that, I was so confused. We could have heard about this and not about the song challenge that I did not like from the last episode. The group idol hunt was really weird. I get why they were all doing it together, but they had to know that no one was going to find an idol and then be like, hey guys, I got an idol, good news, found it, and tell everybody. I thought Jem did a really good job going and digging in the dark. It did make me nervous that she took the lockbox away from the tree, and I was like, uh-oh, maybe something's going to happen. Somebody's going to find it. But I thought that they were going to then maybe lose the challenge, so then it would be linked back. I was waiting for what is going to link back this thing that happened 4 days ago to the present. I kept waiting for that, and it never came. I look forward to hearing what other people think about that, because that totally threw me off. The whole time I was sitting there going, why are they doing this? What is happening? And I couldn't really enjoy watching what was happening. I was thrown totally out of the moment. I want to hear the reasoning behind that because it was weird. It was really weird. Then we go to Nami and we get some of Hunter's background, which I thought was great. I did not see it coming that Survivor led him to be a teacher and that he built all these puzzles and challenges. And you know what? More power to him. That looked exhausting. And I also was like, big house problems, right? I live in a tiny 2-bedroom townhouse. We would not be able to store Survivor puzzles anywhere. And then the sort of talk of Hunter being a bigger threat than Soda or Tevin. He is a big physical threat. I don't know how much he's going to be able to pull in socially to keep him alive longer in the game, because I feel like these physical threats, once they get to the merge, people are like, okay, we got to take them out. And the only thing that saves you is your social game at that point. Randon's hand, don't mess with me in random injuries. And when he was just doing all of his confessionals and his hand was just like this, I was like, Randon, no, what happened? And then I started panicking, he's going home. How do you come back from that? They don't have a chiropractor out there, right? So we get to the challenge, and Randon and Soda are sitting out, and Maria and Jem are sitting out. The Maria and Jem surprised me because I see them as really strong, but I do know they have to rotate who the sit-outs are. So then they just had to set out people. Not too big of a shock about Jess going home. Definitely didn't have the Zielinski joking vibes. I thought Yanu would win and Nami would lose. I thought climbing up and jumping off the blocks, that was really good. A little stressful, but not too bad. The roller was really interesting, and Hunter, that move, Hunter was the star of this challenge. Hunter being like, okay, hold on to me while you roll over, and using physics to bring him over. He is a science teacher, right? Is that right? Could be some physics involved in that teaching. That was sheer genius. I love how Jeff called that out. It was so incredible to watch and like, whoa, that was a good idea. So good on you, Hunter. They're not going to get Hunter out at all after the way that he performed in this challenge, because then they go to the sandbags and Hunter looks like he has a lot of experience playing the game cornhole where you toss the bean bags, because that was what he was doing and he was just landing them up there every time. So that made me laugh. I think when someone was telling Q, like, there's no way you could have practiced for that, but like you can practice tossing sandbags. I did think Q was being a little hard on himself. He honestly did the best that he could do. I think they played a little bit too much into it of him being like, it's fine, you guys vote me out, because they wanted a little more drama. Like, Q wasn't really going anywhere. It was either going to be Kenzie or Banu. The journey. Banu spilling all those beans. I understand that he feels like he's at this point where he's got nothing left to lose and he's throwing everything to the wall, but like, you're gonna dig yourself a grave if you're doing that, because now these other two people are going back to their tribe and they are spilling the beans about everything on your tribe. So if you somehow make it to the merge with your tribe mates, they're gonna tell them, oh, Banu told us everything. I was like, is this man real? Million hearts, not $1 million. Everyone is entitled to their own thing. I think it's cool that Banu wants to win 1 million hearts, but the game is about $1 million. I just thought when Jeff hears this, he's going to cringe. I know he doesn't hear like everything that happens, but if he ever hears that, he's going to cringe and be like, what? Banu? No, you're supposed to be here to win the $1 million. The puzzle, those kind of puzzles always throw me off. The pieces just have to go together. It looks simple, but it's really difficult. I was thinking Banu had a better chance of pulling it off than Ben, and then when they both didn't get it, I was just like, these guys just can't catch a break. And then when they go back, Banu just tells nearly everything. Ben lies about the challenge, but tells the truth about Liz. And did we see what Liz said? I can't even remember. That felt weird to me. I did like that Banu came clean to Q. I felt like that was strategic. You know, the person he felt he could trust. And then Q talking about liability, asset, and threat, I thought was really smart on his part. I think it is smart for him to keep Banu around, honestly, because Banu will feel so loyal to him for saving him that he's going to do whatever he wants. Q knows that Kenzie is playing a really tough game and that she is a big threat. It makes sense for him to try to take her out. So I'm like, can he get Kenzie this time? Because that would be amazing. Obviously not amazing for Kenzie, but amazing for Q's game and for the strategy to just be like kicked up a notch, because Banu is the easy vote, but could they get Kenzie? Tiffany's thinking face was amazing. I needed just like a freeze frame of that. It was so good. So then we go back to Nami and I tell my husband, how much time is left? And we look, there's like 9 minutes. And I was like, oh, Randon's going home and no one's going to leave from Yanu. And there's no way to get around that, right? Because you know they're not going to only spend 9 minutes at Tribal. It was so sad for Randon and for Venus, because that was the one person Venus was working with. Can Randon like slip Venus the note about the idol? Like, can that happen? But I think at that point that it can't, unfortunately. So that was really heartbreaking. Then we go to Yanu and Jeff is just sneaking up. Another time that we needed a freeze frame of Tiffany's face. It was amazing when she was like, Banu was just so excited. I didn't really buy for a second that Yanu was like, yay, we don't have to get rid of anyone. No. I do think Tiffany felt like it was a tough decision because she was sort of in between Q and Kenzie. She could go to get rid of Kenzie or Banu. I don't think Q was ever on the table, but getting rid of Kenzie would have felt really hard for Tiffany, I believe. Jeff heard the 1 million hearts, not $1 million. So I am intrigued to hear his reaction to that. The only thing that I was wondering about is if they told Siga what happened. My husband's like, why would they tell them? But like Nami and Yanu both know that Randon went home. Okay, the preview. Soda having to go for Nami. I was like, what? I thought that they would lean into getting Venus off pretty easily. And I thought Soda kind of had good relationships with everybody. I wonder if the people suggesting that just wanted to take the threat level off of themselves. So we'll see. Of course, the Yanu preview that we get is Banu coming clean about everything that he said, which is going to totally fracture that whole we're all in this together 1 second moment that they had. The Siga preview, what did they find? That was intriguing. So maybe that's why we needed to see what happened when it happened, but couldn't we have had it happen in the next episode? I'm still stuck on that. Oh, I totally forgot. I have to share with you this picture. We actually paused so I could take a picture of it because I laughed out loud so hard when Jeff was like, no one's going home from your tribe. And Kenzie and Tiffany and Banu are all like big hugs and Q is just over at the side. I was like, yeah. That's a little telling, Q. That's a little telling that you had a plan there. What would I like to see next episode? I would like to see another tribe go to tribal council. That has been my wish this entire time. I am intrigued by the drama of the Siga idol. What did they find sort of thing? Did she drop something in the dark? Is that what happened with Jem? I don't know. But I'm hoping that they go so then we can see a little bit of drama around that. I do wonder if something is going to come back now that Randon is out of the game on the Nami tribe. And then Banu, I don't know how he's going to come back from this, honestly. So we'll see what happens next week. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, happy surviving.